Back in September of 2023, I filmed the new 7th generation 2024 Ford Mustang. It was a GT Premium Fastback Coupe, and I thought, well, that's it for my Mustang reviews. I should know better than that. Fast forward to January 22nd of 2024 when I caught wind that, of all places, our local Chevrolet dealership in town had a 2024 Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Used, of course, but with only 52 miles on it, it was basically new. The Dark Horse basically builds on the GT with a stiffened chassis, bigger brakes, forged connecting rods from the GT 500, strengthened camshafts, and unique engine tuning. The Dark Horse bridges the current gap between the GT and the Shelby GT 500, replacing the outgoing GT 350 and the Mach 1. Also, the twin intake throttle bodies on the engine, along with the strut tower brace emblazoned with the Dark Horse logo, really set off an already stunning engine compartment. Mated to this engine as a standard equipment is a Tremec TR3160 6-speed manual gearbox, but the fast-shifting 10-speed select-shift automatic can be had for an additional $1,595. Our Dark Horse was built at the Flat Rock Assembly Complex in Flat Rock, Michigan, in July 27th of 2023.
Hey everyone, in today's detailed in-depth walk-around review, we are taking a look at this amazing, very cool, very aggressive, very menacing, and all the other adjectives that describe this car. What we have here is a 2024 Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Now the Dark Horse does represent the ultimate Mustang, and this one is painted in grabber blue metallic, and it does feature the painted stripes on it. They are the dark shadow and dark tarnish stripes. Inside is the black and blue accented Dynamica and leather interior with the Recaro bucket seats. The full pricing is shown on screen, and a full options list is in the description box below, so make sure you check that out because it is plentiful. It is a very expensive car, and this is going to be a full detailed review. We're going to cover everything from the exterior to the interior, performance, mechanical, and everything else in between.
Of course, the Dark Horse is rear-wheel drive, and power comes from the 302 cubic inch 5-liter Coyote V8 engine. This dual overhead cam 32 valve V8 is of aluminum block and head construction and features twin independent variable cam timing and sports dual intake throttle bodies, coil on plug ignition with direct import fuel injection. The forged piston and connecting rods from the 6th generation Shelby GT 500, This engine sports a 12-to-1 compression ratio and creates 500 horsepower at 7,250 RPM and 418 pound-feet of torque at 4,900 RPM. Road and Track Magazine tested their Dark Horse from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.1 seconds, with 0 to 100 miles per hour arriving in just 9.7 seconds. The quarter mile was hit in 12.5 seconds at 150 mile per hour trap speed, and Ford claims a top speed of 166 miles per hour. Fuel economy is not claimed to fame here and is backed by the presence of a $1,000 gas guzzler tax tacked onto the price of the car. The Dark Horse does, as all Mustangs do, is equipped with a 16 US gallon fuel capacity and consumes 5.9 gallons per 100 miles driven, with an estimated total driving range of just 272 miles. EPA fuel economy figures are 14 miles per gallon in the city, 22 miles per gallon on the highway, and a combined average of 17 miles per gallon. The standard transmission in the Dark Horse is a 6-speed Tremec TR3160 manual transmission, as opposed to the 6-speed Getrag MT82 unit in lesser GT models. Our Dark Horse, however, is equipped with the electronically controlled 10-speed select shift 10R80 automatic and features a manual shift capability via the paddles on the steering wheel. The transmission also utilizes driver selectable drive modes and has a 355 torsion slip limited slip axle with a 0.64 to 1/10 gear ratio.
Now, as we walk around the rear of the Dark Horse, as you can see, aside from the standard Mustang look, it does have some outstanding features which we'll cover in more detail. Alrighty, walking around the rear of the Dark Horse, as you can see, with this new body style and this absolutely stunning grabber blue paint, this car looks, it just looks absolutely menacing on the road. I do like this little quarter panel line that comes down, very muscle car look with this really steeply raked rear quarter window. Very nice fastback look to the rear styling. It is important to note that these stripes are actually painted on, they're not vinyl tape. But as it would seem, it is not a lift back, but it is actually just a regular trunk. But yeah, you can see a little bit more detail of the carbon and the jet black stripes here with the grabber blue in the middle. Those are actually painted on, they're not a sticker or anything. And on the rear window, really cool little homage to the silhouettes of the original Mustang right here, all the way to the current one. That's pretty cool back there. Another really cool feature back here is this gloss black wing. It is a complex wing. It has some matte black plastic here, and the this little spoiler lip here is actually gloss, and it does have the divider support here in the middle. And of course, we do also have the requisite tri-bar tail lights, and with the four-ways on, they are actually flashing normally, but lo and behold, it does still have the sequential turn indicators. Now, of course, we've also got, instead of the Mustang badge, we have the Dark Horse badge here. And coming down to the bottom portion of it, this really aggressive large piece of black plastic houses these huge, absolutely enormous quad-tipped exhausts. You've also got a rear center diffuser, and your reverse lights are actually down here. And as we walk along the profile, I do love the way the new Mustangs look. They have more of an evolutionary than revolutionary design, so it does keep in time and trend with the Mustang heritage. As you can see on screen, the full dimensions are on screen. It is not exactly a small car. It's also not an easy car to get into, especially the rear seats. The Recaro buckets are very tight, but they are very snug, and they do hold you in very well.
Steering is electrically assisted variable rate vehicle speed sensitive selectable effort rack and pinion with normal, comfort, and sport modes. It features 2.2 turns lock to lock and sports a 37.8 foot turning radius. Wheels are staggered size 19-inch dark tarnished painted aluminum wheels with fronts measuring 19 by 10 inches and shot in 305/30 ZR19 Pirelli P0 Trofeo RS 3-season tires. The rears measure 19 by 11 inches with 315/30 ZR19s. Brakes are 4-wheel Brembo powered disc brakes with performance linings and grabber blue painted 6-piston front calipers and 4-piston fixed rear calipers with the white Brembo logo. Brakes are equipped with electronic brake booster and 4-sensor 4-channel anti-lock braking system, along with the advanced track electronic stability control and standard drift brake. Up front, we have 15.4-inch ventilated 2-piece rotors, with the rears being 14-inch 2-piece ventilated rotors. The brakes can halt the Dark Horse from 70 miles per hour to 0 in a short 142 feet.
All right, now as we walk along the front of the car, as you can see, it's a very aggressive look with the matte black plastic covering the front fascia. It does give it kind of an unshaven look, but it does give it a very sporty look to it as well. It also stands out from the rest of the Mustang lineup. All right, walking around the front of the Dark Horse. The detail up here is just as stunning as the rear. Really aggressive, way more aggressive than what the standard Mustang and the Mustang GT have. Coming up the A-pillar here, the post mirrors here are actually just a matte black, so they have a really nice cool look to them. And then coming down to the graphite and the carbon and the black painted stripes on the hood as well, down into this gloss black plastic that has an active heat extractor. And as we move down, the front and the headlamps here, they are an all LED design. They have 3 different segments there, and of course it also operates your high beams. And then up front we do have this little tri-bar motif that has white LEDs for the driving lights, and of course they turn amber for your turn indicators. Marker light down below. This matte black plastic continues all the way across the grille. Kind of gives it an unshaven look, but it does look really, really cool. Gloss black down here in the lower splitter there. Low spoiler down there is another matte plastic. And of course, moving up front, we do have the very classic Mustang inlets here, and an LED indicator here that has the white and amber for the indicators. And of course, the black prancing horse right there in the center. Just a really cool car. All right, now this vehicle is also equipped with a remote start as standard equipment, of course. To operate is easy, just lock the vehicle, then double press the remote start button on the key fob. And remote start will usually automatically start in quiet mode. However, you can change that on the instrument panel settings. It also features the remote rev. And so by unlocking and locking the vehicle, I think you unlock it, then lock it. Okay. All right, now we also have keyless remote entry with Ford's smart key access system. It's the intelligent key access. We just have a standard Mustang key fob. Doesn't have the Dark Horse logo or anything like that, but we have unlock, lock, remote start, trunk release, and panic alarm. And if you'd like to keep your key fob in your purse or pocket, you can electronically lock and unlock the vehicle. On the door handle, there's a little lock button, kind of like, you can barely see it there, but if you press that, it'll lock the vehicle. And if you want to unlock it, just simply grab the handle as you would open it. And when we open the door, we find probably one of the sportiest interiors of a Mustang. As you can see, the Recaro bucket seats, Dynamica suede and leather. And let's take a quick look at the door panels here. The door panels are actually covered in a nice plush vinyl, but they do turn into a solid plastic about midway down. And on the door panels, you do have the Dynamica suede and some more vinyl with the blue stitching. Lots of black in here, no real accent colors, but I like the texture of this piece on the door that goes into the speaker grills. Of course, you have the plastic door pulls, door locks, and here you have the power mirror controls and power window controls. Small amount of storage in the doors, more speakers down here. And then over here on the instrument panel, we do have our automatic headlamp control, trunk release here, and instrument panel brightness and dim. And of course, looking down in the footwells, as you can see, it does have the sport aluminum pedals, but there's no clutch pedal, indicating that this vehicle is sadly an automatic transmission vehicle. Now, the entry tread plate is a Mustang Dark Horse specific tread plate there. And let's take a deeper look into the seats. As stated before, they are an aggressively sporty and bolstered Recaro Sport bucket seats. You may have seen them in the Ford Mustang Bullets and stuff like that. But they have this black leather, this grabber blue stitching, the harness receivers here. You do have the Recaro stitching here, and inside the seats itself is a Dynamica suede insert. It is perforated and it has a bluish hue to it, which gives it kind of a custom look. It may be a little hard to see, but it is actually like the perforations have blue inside them. But as you can see, the details there, absolutely amazing. In addition, this vehicle also has this really almost like a blackish blue seatbelt webbing material. All right, painting through the interior, we're going to show more details. As you can see here, very nice electrically assisted, very smooth power assisted steering on a very thick rim 3-spoke steering wheel. It is leather covered. It is also heated. You do have the thumb grips up at the top. You do have some faux carbon fiber appliques on the spokes themselves, but everything in here is a very monochromatic look to it. Gives it a very nice custom look. Kind of stands out from the rest of the Mustangs. Even your Mustang horse is black, which looks really cool. Of course, the vehicle does have shift paddles on the back of the steering wheel, upshift on the right-hand side, downshift on the left-hand side. And we have multi-function controls here. So we have our distronic, or not distronic, but adaptive cruise control. You have your follow distance, your power set, accelerate, decelerate, lane keep assist, and then this button here, it does a automatic, like you can set it to however overspeed you want to do. And then these buttons here, the silver ones, are actually your drive mode selects. Over here on the right hand side, we do have our Bluetooth controls, voice command controls, our steering feedback controls, menu select, and you also have your audio controls. And this OK button here just makes menu selections. Over here on the left hand side, this stalk controls your high beams, your flash to pass, and your turn indicators. Over on the right hand side, that stalk controls your wipers and washer. Right straight ahead of us is an LCD flat panel display that displays a almost a 3-dimensional gauge cluster. Right now we're actually in sport mode, but what's really cool is by going over into this area here, if you press the Mustang logo down here on the center, it'll bring up our My Mustang control page, and you could change your cluster theme. So right now we're actually in the sport mode. Kind of looks like a BMW if you ask me. The normal mode is just simply normal looking gauges. Nothing really special here. 180 mile per hour speedometer, 9,000 RPM tach, 7,500 RPM red line. And of course, we've also got fuel and our temperature for coolant. But if we actually scroll down, we'll show gauge details. So we have cylinder head temperature, engine oil temperature, transmission oil temperature, axle oil temperature, engine oil pressure, inlet air temperature, air to fuel ratio, vacuum, and voltage. So an absolute ton of gauges there. And then if we go to track, it turns it into basically the Ford GT looking instrument cluster there. Calm is nothing more than just a speedometer with the inset tachometer, and everything else is pretty much blank. Gives it a very nice calming feel. And my all-time favorite is the 87 to 93 Fox body. And now that we have our headlights on, they are green. They actually still have the green illumination, but if we turn our headlights off, they actually turn white. That's a really cool touch that throws back to the Ford 90s instrument cluster. I'm just gonna keep it on there. Alrighty, let's move over the top of the dash. As you can see, we don't have the dual binnacle design anymore. We just have this really cool floating plane instrument cluster. It's actually 2 screens. There's a big piece of plastic here that divides the two. It's all one piece of glass though. But this screen over here is actually the Sync 4 system. And it is a very nice and very responsive system. And does have Apple CarPlay, Google Android Auto, GPS navigation, AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio. We have a bunch of settings in here for Bluetooth, sound, instrument cluster, software updates, all that kind of stuff. And then of course you can also have a split screen view. You can do your vehicle features here, My Mustang. You can program favorites. You can do your owner's manual. You can also place the vehicle in reverse, and it does have a reverse camera with active guidance lines. also in conjunction with the parking sensors. There is no top-down 360-degree view, however. All right, moving down, we do have 2 large air vents here. We have some grabber blue stitching, the faux carbon fiber trim in these air vents area. And then here is a red button that has the engine start-stop. A blank button here, but we have our Mustang, or my Mustang button here. Traction control, 4-way flashers, the favorite button. And this is your max defroster. One control here controls your volume by rotating it. And of course you could turn it off by pressing the power button in the middle. Down here we do have a USB Type A and Type C charge port, wireless charge mat. Coming down here we do have more of the grabber blue stitching. We do have our automatic transmission lever here with manual mode, black leather boot with the blue stitching, 2 large cup holders, and our handbrake. Now the handbrake is actually really cool because it looks like a normal handbrake. You lift it up just like you would, and it sets the parking brake. But as you can see, it goes back down to its neutral position. Now this is actually an electronic parking brake. So just like you would in an electronic system, if you want to release it, you just press down on the handle. And that releases your parking brake. But the actuation is very similar to a cable-operated handbrake. Now we do have a padded armrest here. It does flip up to reveal illuminated storage. You've also got a 12-volt power point and a decent amount of storage inside. All right, taking a look over here, we do have the Dark Horse badge on the instrument panel there. It is a numbered badge. More of the grabber blue stitching, a nice large glove box. Overhead, we do have an automatic dimming rearview mirror. We've also got overhead illumination here. Individual reading lights. On the driver's side sun visor, it's hard to see in here, but we do have 3-channel Home League universal garage door opener. We've also got illuminated sun visors. And of course the sun visors do swing out and they also slide out. And we've also got high adjustable seat belts. Alrighty, now getting into the rear seat is a real chore. Opening up the door. And as you can see, we don't have power seats, and Ford did not really make this easy. This right here is your high adjuster here. This is your seat back recline, but we also can fold that forward. And then that will actually put the seat back forward. But as you can see, it doesn't actually slide forward. But we're going to take a look at the rear seats just real quick. The rear seats do seat 2 across. They are a 50-50 split folding seat design. And I would say most people would probably use that because there is your legroom. I showed it on screen, but there it is in person view there. So it's not great. But the seats are very supportive back here. They are very aggressively bolstered. As you can see though, there is no armrest back here. There's no cup holders. There's no vents. There's nothing. No charge, no USB, no nothing. If you want to fold the seats, there's a tether here. And that's how you fold the seats. It's the exact same way on both sides. All right, that is the rear seat of the Mustang. Alright, if you want to opening the trunk is actually very easy. There's 3 ways to do it. First and the easiest way is by pressing the trunk release button here on the instrument panel. The other way you could do it is right underneath the Dark Horse logo, right where the license plate plinth is. There's a little membrane switch right here. You can press that. That will also release the trunk. Or, of course, you can double press the remote key fob. And as you can see, the trunk does actually open up 90 degrees. It is a wide opening trunk, and the hinges are actually mounted on the outside, so they don't impede on trunk space. The unfortunate thing about the trunk, though, is it does have a high liftover height and a very narrow opening. But as you can see, once you get inside, the trunk isn't actually half bad for a car of this size. Back here you do have your amplifier and subwoofer for the sound system. Nice load flat floor, however. And underneath, because we don't have a spare tire, we do have a tire inflator kit. And of course we have a little bit of an additional deep well storage, if you want to call it that. And closing the trunk is as easy as just grabbing the lid, not the spoiler, but the actual trunk lid itself, and closing it. Alrighty, there you go. That is the in-depth walk-around review of the 2024 Ford Mustang Dark Horse. We hope you found the review informative. If you did, please comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/neighborhoodcarreviews and our Instagram channel at BrensoJ1. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.